The Zephyrian High Command had calculated everything perfectly. Their massive dreadnoughts hung in Earth's orbit like metallic vultures, their shadow falling across entire continents. The ultimatum had been broadcast to every corner of the planet. Surrender unconditionally or face extinction. They expected terror, chaos, and ultimately, the pitiful pleading of a conquered species. What they got instead was something their advanced psychology algorithms had never predicted. Laughter. Admiral. Kethavar watched the human transmissions. With growing bewilderment from the bridge of his flagship, the screen showed humans across their planet, not cowering in bunkers or fleeing in panic, but gathering in streets, pointing at the sky, and laughing with genuine amusement. "This cannot be accurate," he hissed to his tactical officer. "Run the translation protocols again." "Sir, the translations are correct. The humans they appear to be mocking our ultimatum." Kethavar's four eyes narrowed. In his 3 centuries of conquest, he had seen species react with fear, rage, desperate bargaining, even suicidal defiance. But never this. Never amusement. The main communication channel crackled to life. A human female appeared on screen, their leader according to intelligence reports. President Sarah Chen sat behind a simple wooden desk, her dark eyes sparkling with mirth. "Greetings, Admiral Kethavar," she began, pronouncing his name with deliberate casualness. "We received your, what did you call it? Ultimatum? That's adorable." Several bridge officers exchanged confused glances. Kethavar's mandibles clicked in irritation. "Human, you do not seem to comprehend your situation. We possess the firepower to turn your world to ash." Chen's smile widened. "Oh, we understand perfectly. You've got big ships, scary weapons, and you've probably blown up a bunch of planets to get here." "Very impressive." She leaned forward conspiratorially. "But here's the thing you might have missed in your research. Humans have a rather peculiar relationship with impossible odds." Behind her, Kethavar could see other humans entering the frame. Military officers, scientists, even what appeared to be civilians, all wearing the same inexplicable expression of amusement. "You see, Admiral," Chen continued, "about 75 years ago we had this little disagreement among ourselves. Some very bad people tried to take over the world. They had better weapons, more resources, and seemed unstoppable." She chuckled. "We called it World War II. Would you like to know how that ended?" Kethavar remained silent, though his tactical computer was already pulling up historical data. "Or perhaps you'd prefer the story of the Alamo, or Thermopylae, or any of the countless times humans looked at overwhelming odds and said, 'Well, this should be interesting.'" Chen's voice took on a sharper edge. "We have a saying, Admiral. Hold my beer and watch this." The president gestured to someone off screen, and suddenly the display split to show feeds from around Earth. In New York, people were setting up telescopes on rooftops, pointing them at the alien ships. In Tokyo, street vendors were selling alien invasion survival kits that appeared to contain nothing but snacks and comedy movies. In London, a group of elderly humans were taking tea in a park, occasionally glancing up at the ships with the mild interest one might show clouds. "The thing about humans," Chen explained, "is that we've been practicing for this our entire existence. Every disaster movie, every science fiction novel, every video game, we've been running scenarios. And you know what we learned?" She stood up, and Kethavar noticed she was wearing a t-shirt that read, "I survived the alien invasion and all I got was this lousy t-shirt." "We learned that the aliens always make the same mistake. They assume that because they have superior technology, they're superior beings. They forget that intelligence isn't just about building bigger guns. It's about creativity, adaptability, and sheer bloody-minded stubbornness." Kethavar's tactical officer whispered urgently in his ear, "Sir, we're detecting massive energy signatures across the planet." They're activating something." On screen, Chen grinned. "Oh, you noticed that, did you? See, while you were busy traveling between star systems conquering primitive worlds, we've been busy too. Turns out when your entire species spends decades convinced that aliens might invade someday, you tend to prepare for that possibility." The displays around Earth began showing new images. What had appeared to be ordinary buildings were revealing hidden weapons systems. Satellites that looked like communications arrays were repositioning themselves. The humans' internet, which the Zephyrians had dismissed as a primitive communication network, suddenly revealed itself as a coordination system linking defensive installations across the globe. Quantum entanglement communication networks, Chen said conversationally. Particle beam weapons, gravitational field manipulators, AI-assisted targeting systems, and that's just the stuff we're willing to show you. She tilted her head. Did you really think a species that invented nuclear weapons as a side project wouldn't have a few surprises up their sleeves? Kethavar felt a chill run down his exoskeleton. His sensors were picking up energy readings that shouldn't have been possible for a pre-contact civilization. But here's the best part, Chen continued, her laughter now echoing from speakers across the bridge. Even if you somehow managed to destroy all of that, even if you reduced our cities to rubble and scattered our armies, you'd still lose. Impossible, Kethavar snarled. Really? Tell me, Admiral, what happens when you back a cornered rat into a corner? Chen's eyes glittered with predatory amusement. It doesn't beg. It doesn't surrender. It bites and it keeps biting until either it's dead or you are. She spread her arms wide. We're a species that tells bedtime stories about monsters under the bed. We write songs about fighting impossible battles. We make heroes out of people who stood alone against overwhelming odds. You want to make us extinct? Get in line behind cancer, natural disasters, our own stupidity, and each other. The communication channel filled with laughter, not just from Chen, but from humans across the planet. It wasn't the laughter of madness or desperation. It was the laughter of a species that had finally met the monster under the bed and found it disappointingly ordinary. So here's our counteroffer, Admiral Kethavar, Chen said, wiping tears of mirth from her eyes. Turn those ships around, go home, and tell the galaxy that Earth is under new management. Because if you don't... She leaned forward, her smile turning sharp as a blade. Well, let's just say we've been wondering what other planets might need some good old-fashioned human intervention. Kethavar stared at the screen in stunned silence. In the background, he could hear his own crew beginning to murmur uncertainly. For the first time in his military career, the admiral of the Zephyrian conquest fleet found himself considering retreat. After all, there was something deeply unsettling about a species that looked at certain death and laughed in its face.